no tomorrow.
Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, so for today, I have got 5 Dollar Tree DIY home decor items for y'all. And y'all, they turned out fantastic. These were so simple to make and so inexpensive. I cannot wait for y'all to see these. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so for this first one, I have got a set of the yard balloon stakes. Now, these came from the Dollar Tree, and I'd actually used 4 of them in a previous project, but they're really solid, just plastic little tubes. Now, I've got a planner from the Dollar Tree, and then I've got a little bundle of material that I picked up at Walmart. And y'all, I thought this was actually a good deal, but when I opened the little piece of material up, like right here in a second, I'm going to open it up, and I realized that they're really small pieces. So might not have been the best deal, but hey, we're going to work with it. So I'm going to paint my planner. I decided to take my new Arteza acrylic colors. Now, these are the premium classic colors. These are so pretty, y'all. The Arteza paints are so vibrant and so pigmented. It is hard for me to use acrylic paint. I'm going to be totally honest with y'all because I'm so used to using chalk paint, and the coverage with chalk paint is just amazing. So acrylic paint is kind of hard for me to want to use, but the Arteza acrylic paint is so nice. I'm going to be using the silver, the Mars brown, and also the burnt sienna. So I just added these to a paper plate. I'm then going to take my new scissors that Arteza sent me. Now, look at how pretty these scissors are, y'all. They are so nice. Super sharp, and also they are all made of titanium. A couple different sizes, a couple different uses there, but very nice set of scissors from Arteza. And I'll have a link in the description box for anything that I used from Arteza and also for their website. So the first thing I did was take a sponge, I cut it up, and then I'm going to use that to just mute down this silver that we got going on. So obviously this is already metal, it's already silver, but it's a very shiny, new looking metal, and that's not what I wanted for this project. So I just took the silver from the Arteza paints and just tap all over this planner. Completely covered it. I'm then going to take the black and go around the bottom edge and also up the little seam that's on the side. And then I'm also just going to add a couple spots here and there just to kind of dirty this up. We're going to age this. So just a couple spots here and there. And then I go back with the sponge that has the silver on it. I did not add any paint to it. I just used what was on there, and I just kind of patted over the top of that black, and that was just to kind of blend it back in and make it look a little more natural. Now we're going to take the burnt sienna, add that to the bottom edge and also up the seam, and then just a few spots here and there, just kind of like we did with the black. And then I'm going to go over that with the silver. And that is once again just to blend that back in and make it look, more natural, but super simple. And now that looks very aged and galvanized. All right, now I'm going to take some of this floral foam that I picked up at Big Lots, I believe. And I'm just going to cut it down to fit inside my planner. Now, when I pushed it down in there, it kind of bent the planner. So I did have to kind of bend the planner back out, kind of shape it back up a little bit. But no big deal. I just added in my extra pieces just to kind of hold that one piece of foam. And then I'm going to take one of those stakes. Now, one end of those stakes is kind of tapered, or I'm not really sure what you call it, but it's pointed. So I just shoved that down in my floral foam. I'm then going to take the material and start to cut it up into strips. Now, these are about 1 inch wide by like maybe 12. The longest pieces are. But y'all, as I went up the stick, the plastic tube, as I went up the tube, I cut my material shorter and shorter. So we're creating like a rag tree. Now this reminds me of something that my grandmother had when I was a little girl. So this is just my interpretation of it. There may be much simpler ways to do this or completely different ways to do this, but this was just my take on a rag tree. So like I said, all I did was cut my material shorter and shorter as I went up the tree. And I just steadily tied it on, just one little single knot, just tied it onto my tree and kind of shaped it, pointing it downwards. Super, super simple, y'all. And this tree is so stinking cute. I think all the different colors really adds to it, but I love this. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about it. And did y'all have one of these when you were a little girl? I would like to give a huge thank you to Teotronics for sponsoring today's video. Y'all, they reached out to me, sent me one of their newest air purifiers, and I am in love with this thing. Like, it is so super, super nice. The Teotronics air purifier adopts a 3-in-1 true HEPA filter that helps to clean the air by trapping particles as small as 0.3 microns. Y'all, that's tiny. Thus, it can quickly and efficiently filter pollen, pet dander, and dust in the air in order to provide a healthier air for you and your family. 3 adjustable fan speeds manually, or let the auto mode automatically switch the fan speeds based on the air quality of the room. With heightened purifying performance, air inlet grill, washable pre-filter, and 3-stage H13 true HEPA filter for a total of 5 layers to trap 99.97% or more particles. Low operation noise as low as 32 dB under sleep mode won't even wake a baby. And y'all, this is so true because this thing is so super duper quiet. That's what I like about it the most, probably. Safe for kids and pet friendly. Guard your family against pet hair and pet dander, cigarette smoke, dust, pollen, and other airborne pollutants. Air quality monitor sensor professional monitor real-time detects air near the control panel to accurately display the air quality with value and corresponding colors for easy checking. It even lets you know when to change your HEPA filter. With space-saving design, an air inlet on the front and top of the machine, you can place it near the wall to create 360 degrees air circulation without taking up any kind of space. The Teotronics air purifier allows your family members to breathe clean, pure air and live happily. Hey, don't forget, check the description box for your special discount and along with the link to the Teotronics website. Thank you again, Teotronics. Okay, so for this one, which is probably my favorite out of the whole video, I've got 2 of those votive candle holders from the Dollar Tree. I've also got 2 of these little headband deals from the Dollar Tree. I also have some of their garland, just a little piece of it. And then I've got a couple pieces of the red berries. I have 2 tea light candles, and then I've also got some white sand from the Dollar Tree. Now, I just started out by cutting my headband, just opening it up, kind of trimming it off a little bit, taking one of the glass votive candle holders, and we're going to glue this headband directly to the candle holder. So I just added hot glue right to the candle holder, and then I'm just simply place my headband right on the glue. Make sure that I've got it glued down really nicely. And then we're just going to begin to wrap it around the votive. Now, I cut it off. I trimmed it down. I didn't want it to be real bulky where it met. I mean, obviously, this is going to have a back to it because it was almost impossible to not. but I didn't want it to be super bulky. So I just trimmed it down just enough that I could meet it, you know, kind of match it up, glue it down really well. Same thing for the other one. How cute is that, y'all? Oh my goodness. So I did the same exact thing for the other one. Just simply cut the headband in half and then glued it to the votive. Super, super simple. I added my sand. Now this is sand from the Dollar Tree. I had used it in a previous project. Once I added it, I realized that I didn't have enough because I wanted it to be taller than the headband. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted the sand to stand up taller than the headband. So I poured it back in the other one. I'm going to grab some black rocks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to add one bag to both candle holders. So just one bag, half in each, you know, half of the bag in one candle holder, half in the other, and then add my sand. And that way I was able to fill it up to where it came up above the headband. So once I got that done, I just added in my tea light candles. I added in my little red berries. So stinking easy, y'all. This was so simple and it is so cute. I just really feel like these are such a little statement piece and they're just darling. So I added in some of the garland just to give it a little bit of that greenery. So stinking cute, y'all. Ugh, I love these. Check them out. Okay, so for this next one, I have got one of these cake plates from the Dollar Tree, and then I've also got one of these tree collars that they've just come out with this year. I have my elephant chalk paint by Waverly. I'm going to take that cake plate and completely cover it with the elephant chalk paint. Now, I did give it 2 good coats. I wanted a good solid base to start with. We're going to galvanize this, but I wanted to use that elephant as my base. I'm then going to take those same 3 colors that we used from before from Arteza, and we're going to galvanize this. So I took my sponge and just, like I said before, just tap, 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 tap. And the reason that you do it that way, you kind of tap, 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 is because you want that texture like a galvanized metal. So same thing, took my black, I went around the very inside little seam there, along the edge, around the outside edge, and then I also added in just a few little spots here and there, and that's just to kind of dirty it up. I took my sponge that had the silver paint on it, went back over the top of the black, and that was just to blend it back in, and you'll see as I go here how well it blends. Oh, I love these Arteza paints, y'all. Such good paint. Oh my goodness. Check that out. It's so simple. so simple. All right. I then took the burnt sienna, went around the outside edge of the tray. I'm also going around that inside little seam there. And then also I'm going to make a couple little spots here and there just to give it that rust look, just kind of age it. I then used my heat gun to dry that burnt sienna. I wanted that dry first, and then I went over it with the top of the silver. Super simple. Just blending it in. Anybody can do this galvanized look, y'all. It's so simple to do. You cannot mess it up. I'm then going to take that tray, flip it over upside down, and add a crap ton of hot glue. Now, the edge of that collar is so thin that I wasn't totally sure I would be able to keep the glue on it. That's why I decided to add the glue to the bottom of the tray. and then we'll add the little tree collar. And I also added some of the burnt sienna and the silver to the tree collar, just so it would blend in well with the top, the tray. How stinking cute is this thing? Ah! Okay, so for this one, I have got 3 of the Beware signs from the Dollar Tree. Then I picked up this wall art from Walmart for $2.98. I took some paint stir sticks, cut those down with my miter shears, and then I used those to glue these 3 Beware signs together on the back side of them. Just simply cut them down, added hot glue, and then glued those together. This ends up being super secure, actually. Now, I wanted to cover up all that glitter, so I took some of this crafter's tape. I found this at Walmart. This was something new. I'd never used this before, but it actually worked out perfect. You just run it along whatever you're wanting to put it on, and it just comes right out of this little thing here, but it is like tape, essentially. Anyways, so once I got that all the way around the board, I then took some craft paper and then stuck it down to the craft tape. Super simple, super simple, and then works out perfectly. Cut that down. I just cut off any excess. And y'all, these Arteza scissors are just fantastic. Now, I have mineral, plaster, and silver lining chalk paints by Waverly. I start out with the plaster. I just paint the entire set of boards with the plaster. It's just a rough painting of it. As you can see there, I didn't really get the edges real well. I wanted it to just kind of be a rough painting, and we're going to go in and make it look like shiplap. So I didn't have a ruler long enough, so I just taped 2 of them together. Anyways, it worked out. Now, I just went right across my board. I actually measured out like 2 of the notches and made that one board. And you'll see here in a minute, like you can see where I taped my ruler together. You can actually see that when I run my marker across it. But I wasn't really that worried about it because I was going to go back and cover all of this with the silver lining anyway. So just bear with me. I did make some of the vertical lines on here just so that way it would really actually look like boards, like real shiplap. And then I just simply dry brushed it with that silver lining. I didn't even use the mineral color. I just dry brushed it with the silver lining, and that was it. I took my wall art and began to just lay it out, kind of finding my positioning with it, where I wanted everything to look, and you know, how I wanted it to lay on the board. So stinking easy. And this is a really big piece, y'all. And yes, I am in glasses. Y'all keep seeing my face in glasses. I actually wear contacts most of the time, but I have here recently been using my glasses a little more. So yeah, anyways. But I just put that wall art on, and y'all, look at how beautiful this is. I mean, this is actually very big and very pretty. Okay, so for this next one, I have got one of the microfiber towels that you can get in the automotive section from the Dollar Tree. I have got 4 feather boas that I also picked up from the Dollar Tree. Now, I showed these and the little megaphone, this megaphone here, in my last Dollar Tree haul. I'll have that video linked in the description box if y'all want to check that out. That was a super fun video. But I just took that megaphone and I snipped off the mouth part on the very top of it. I just used my wire pliers. It's totally simple to do. It's just made of plastic, so not a big deal. But I did snip that off. I added hot glue to the inside of the very top of this megaphone. Quite a bit of hot glue. And then I just poked in one corner of that microfiber towel. Just glued that down. Get it good and secured. Just held it into place until the hot glue dried. And then I began to glue it to the megaphone. So I decided to cover this with the microfiber towel just in case you could see through the feathers, because I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to see that yellow. And instead of painting it, I just thought this would be just as simple. And then plus the feathers would actually be glued to the microfiber towel. I thought that they would stay better than being glued to plastic, if that makes sense. Anyways, so I just continued to glue and cut until I got this completely covered. I then started in with the feathers. So I cut off the end of one of the boas and then just secured it at the very top of the megaphone. And I just started wrapping. Now, it did take all 4 of these boas, so I wrapped them pretty tight. You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't much space in between each line of the feathers. So as you can see there, it didn't cover a whole lot. That very first one, it didn't cover a whole lot. But I did wrap them, pretty tight because I wanted this to be really, really full and just kind of, super fluffy and whatever. So I wanted to make sure, since I had 4 of the boas, I decided I would just make it as full as possible. So like I said before, I just glued one in and then wrapped it around, secured it at the other end, and then started in with another one of the boas. So I just completely covered this thing with those feather boas. And 4 was a perfect number for this. I took my scissors and kind of trimmed it down at the top. That way it would be the shape of a tree. I then took one of these little wooden star cutouts that you can also get at the Dollar Tree and some of my gold Arteza paint. Now, this is just the gold acrylic paint. It comes in the set of paint that I showed y'all from before. Now, I just painted that little star, used my heat gun to dry it. I'm going to flip it over, paint the back side of it. That way, if you're looking at this thing from any direction, everything's covered. I added a little bit of hot glue to the very bottom of that star, just right along the edge. And then I'm just going to pop that dude right on top of our little tree. And y'all, this thing is gorgeous. And now for the final reveal. I hope that y'all have enjoyed. right, y'all, that is it for today. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. So I thought for the ending, I would leave y'all with a few cute pics of the puppies. I know that y'all love these. I love these little guys so, so much. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps my channel. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family, and also subscribe. That would be awesome. Plus, hit that notification bell so that you will know each time I upload a new video. Thank you all so, so much for spending this time with me today. Hope you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.